and the African Transformation Movement submitted a request for the establishment of a Section 89 inquiry into President Cyril Ramaphosa's fitness to hold office, and the National Assembly Speaker Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula has granted it. Now, whether President Cyril Ramaphosa will go through a procedure that could result in his impeachment over the Phala Phala farm robbery saga will be decided by an independent panel. Let's get the thoughts of political analyst Professor Sipho Seepe on this process. Prof, thank you very much for availing yourself this morning. Is this an effective mechanism to hold the president to account?
It is a mechanism that is provided for in the Constitution, and I think that would be the first thing that the Speaker would be interested in, because there are also rules of Parliament. And before Parliament or the National Assembly can deal with the issue, the process has been always to establish a panel and to look at where a panel of independent individuals who are in good standing. And there's a reason why that is so, because Parliament is largely a political space where there is a political contestation. But before that contestation takes place, there's a need, or Parliament has decided that it would be good to have almost an objective assessment on whether the grounds on which the president is held to account to hold. And effectively what it means that the ATM would have made a submission that the president is in serious violation of a number of things. One is the Constitution or the law. And with the Phala Phala matter, the fact that the president has been unable to answer even simple questions, has been ducking and diving, it has actually compelled the parties in support of ATM to go this route, to say, given that the president is unwilling or is trying to find a way of not answering the straightforward questions, we'll use what is required of us as parliamentarians and to hold him accountable. So the Speaker has acceded to the request, and even before she pushed it back to say it must be substantive, in the sense that there must be documentation to support all the suggested charges against the president. And this is what the ATM has actually done. So what the panel will do, it will make a preliminary assessment that based on the evidence provided, the president has a case to answer.
And how should we understand that scope of work, right? Because this panel of referral, the Speaker was at pains to point out that it does not constitute a parliamentary impeachment process, but an assessment of the supplied evidence, given that this matter is under police investigation.
Yeah, the issue of impeachment is something that falls within the purview of Parliament. It's not something that Parliament can outsource. Parliament elects the president, or the National Assembly elects the president, and it is the National Assembly that also can remove the president. So what the Speaker was saying is that in terms of what they have actually agreed to as parliamentarians, in terms of the rules of Parliament, there are processes, and this is simply going through the proper process. But one of the things that the parties are very convinced of is that the mere fact that it's been more than 2 months and the president has been unable to answer any of the questions suggests that he is actually trying to cover up. And they are actually saying, we are not going to allow or give him time to even go to the state where he might be able to erase or reverse or cover up some of the evidence that may actually be implicating him directly to wrongdoing.
Some sectors of society have already suggested that it's time for the president maybe to prepare his bags, and that this is, you know, the nail that will put him on the mast. Your thoughts on that?
Well, if you understand the notion of confidence, the president, by ducking and diving, even his supporters have actually suggested that you have actually, we no longer believe in you. You should look at the comments coming from business people, comments coming from even the DA that they used to say that the president must fire all the ministers and he could remain. They've also taken a very strong position and have articulated the series of wrongdoing that they think the president has actually done. So you cannot have a president who is accused of what is considered to be unlawful acts, and then turn a blind eye to that. And then the same president is expected to talk about busting corruption. So they say he is ill-qualified even to begin to lecture people around issues of respect for the law, while he is unable to show and indicate to people to say, I'm actually clean. And we must also understand that this is not the first time. Every time matters of the president come to the fore, this is a president who, with the support of mainstream media and support of the so-called foundations that they present themselves as holier than thou, they keep quiet, and he goes to the courts and he says, information about me must be sealed. So I think that notion of relying on the courts and judges who are going to rule that your issues should not be made public, people have grown impatient of that, and even his supporters. So I do think that the idea that has also come from some of the veterans of the ANC who used to support him wholeheartedly to say he must step aside. They are simply saying what you expect of others, you should know this should happen to you. So it is all about the president must walk the talk, but also must be consistent, and all must be equal before the law. If people are going to be suspended and be forced to step aside because there are serious allegations against them, the president who says, if we've got nothing to prove, then you should actually speak out. He has been unable to do so.
Prof, you say he enjoys the support of mainstream media and some civil society organizations who keep quiet when there's wrongdoing. Please expand on that for us.
We know, as a matter of fact, that whenever there were issues that involved any other person or the former president, you would have organizations like Freedom Under Law going to court. You'll have the Nelson Mandela Foundation making a lot of noise. You'll have the Ahmed Katala Foundation making a lot of noise about the issue of transparency. You'll have organizations that used to talk about the importance of transparency, the right to know. All those, you would have an organization like CASA. They have become definitely silent. We don't see them. Instead, you will now find, as Malema said, that it is now before the known parties like the EFF, the DA, and all that to call for the president to account. So these organizations are showing high level of hypocrisy. That if you believe in transparency and you have a president who is not transparent, then you should actually show to say your position is not driven by your personal dislike of a person. Your position is driven by your belief in issues of principle. And here's a principle that a president is seen to have almost violated a series and a number of laws in this country. And certainly he has actually violated the Constitution, or has failed to uphold that which we expect of him. We expect, for instance, the president to be seized with matters of the state. We don't expect the president to be moonlighting as a farmer, a business person. The issues in this country are so serious that they require full attention. But if you're now told that the president is busy selling cattle, then you ask, when is he going to deal with issues of the country? And he himself had even made jokingly that being a president of the country is more of a side issue. The serious business is the business that is involved in. So you don't want to have a president who sees being a president of the country as a side issue, as a matter that is not serious. He may be joking, but you don't joke about these things when you're a president.
Professor Sipho Seepe is a political analyst. Thank you for your time this morning.